Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Furi. So it looks like you actually get a different starting menu based on which boss you're about to fight. But unfortunately, we took the secret ending and so I got set back to the beginning of the game just through a really dumb amount of programming, which actually is even worse than I thought it was, because if you're in the easy difficulty, the promenade mode, you can turn on infinite mode and skip past boss battles.
Look, my friend.
But there's nothing stopping, nothing allowing you to do that in the normal mode. So if you were playing on normal and you struggled halfway through the game, took the secret ending, it wouldn't save a checkpoint or anything like that. It would just end the game and you'd have to start all over again on normal mode, which is really unfortunate in that probably will funnel too many people, even one person is one too many, towards playing the game a second time on an easier difficulty just to save time. So that would continue to funnel people away from beating the game on normal mode, which is what they intended for you. And again, we can see how, unless the French version of the dialogue here is significantly longer, there's just these awkward pauses. Awkward pause of dialogue, even when I'm in the auto walk mode. And see, this looks like this was a door, but I didn't. It isn't. And all of that, just poor decision making. It's not programming even, it's decision making. Some producer, some director in charge of the game said, let's put in an Easter egg ending, and instead of at the end of the credits rewinding time back to the point where you made that decision, we're going to force the player to start from the beginning. And that is just absolutely 100% cannot be argued in my mind the wrong decision. Some of the other decisions in this game certainly are more matters of opinions. Like I could say the asset flipping from the Unity store to have an environment you walk around before you get to the fight may be wasteful, when you really could have just had an arena that you teleported to, and that could have been the entirety of the game, and maybe you could have squeezed out one more boss, one more set of attacks. And certainly I could complain about the round system and losing significant progress if you are defeated in a round, versus the game being more generous and less of a difficult pain in the butt. And these experiences, adding just a negative response, has led me to not be super motivated to come back to this game. So this is a game where you really needed to be warmed up and just ready to smash the buttons as much as possible. And already you kind of needed to take breaks in between each boss battle, but then taking extended breaks of even a couple of days is yeah, I took a hit there, and yeah, it let me do that punishing attack. This really has just come down to a situation where these early attacks are just nothing, and these early battles are really just nothing. And they're being all very sneaky about what our character is, but clearly he's not human, for whatever that means. Like, he gets stabbed in the chest and barely affects him. He takes massive amount of damages, seems to be killed, and then comes back from being killed non-stop. If anything, he seems like a very, very robust creature.
So much power, but so much pain.
And certainly on a second fight, there's not as much to really say. See, I just got knocked down and that just refilled the entire health bar on the character. So I was right about to win, and all that progress just got erased. And it very well may just be a case that if the game was a little bit just more generous and say only refilled half of his health bar or a percentage of his health bar.
I can put a stop to it. Let me free you.
See, that attack just seems completely unmissable. I don't know if maybe I'm supposed to actually let him attack me when he's underwater or what. I may very well be in a case where I am supposed to let him attack me. See, that was interesting because that was like a dodge that like that he was dodging my attacks and then I could attack, and I just don't really get why it would be so inconsistent. Yeah. Here's a great example of just being stabbed in the chest, being killed, and it not really affecting our character that much. But it certainly is affecting the player quite a bit and irritating me in that I've once again had to reset my progress. And on one hand, I could go into invincible mode and just skip this fight. Since, on the other hand, though, I probably just need to go through this whole fight. Let's see. If I just stand here. Yeah, maybe I should just stand still and wait until he attacks so I can do something like that. Part of the unfairness definitely, I think, comes from the fact that you don't get a full re-health, a refill of your health, until when you go into this mode, and yet you absolutely he absolutely gets a full health refill when he goes into this close combat mode. So the game is just not treating the two characters fairly. And in many cases in video games, that is the case, but almost every other situation, it's usually cheating in the favor of the player, not cheating in the favor of the enemy, the antagonist. That's the old meme where you're fighting a dragon in an RPG and you can use an infinite number of healing potions, but the second the dragon uses a healing potion, it feels like the game is cheating. See, there definitely are situations here where it feels like you just need to fake and bait the character. And it definitely feels like I somehow won there, and I don't even know how that happened. They talk about this corruption, and then they don't mention it again for several boss fights. See, that's just like the halfway point. Now we're doing completely different fighting with completely different cycles. So even if I got really, really good at the previous cycles, they're not going to really mean anything or do anything. I gotta avoid taking damage way better. Yeah, I'm about to lose. So, yeah. You're just not really gonna be able to beat this cycle unless you do a much better job. You could try to do a charged attack. And obviously you're supposed to hit the B button. Right. So I got lucky there in that he did the other pattern. And that let me go further. Now we're down to the last cycle. Charged attack there, not really working. And so then you have this bullet hell sequence. No, this might be a great game to play in comparison to say Nier Automata, which is just a game with a lot more going on, but does have fight sequences very similar to some of this, from what I've seen, having not actually played Nier Automata. See, that entire round, the entire life bar was just built around that one attack sequence of pressing X a few times versus every other round where you've had to hit the X button many times in 2 or 3 cycles.
Will we share his fate, or will life take an unexpected turn? Hope comes from the strangest
And I guess they were
places.
showing his face for a second there. But yeah, you really don't get
thought
good
about it for
looks
so long.
of any of the
Destruction
characters
world
outside their
on one
masks.
hand, but on the other, what about my world?
That is
Why
probably
should their world be more valuable than mine?
important or thought out a little bit.
I made
That
my
they
decision.
want to show the eyes of
I will
the character
free
you're
myself.
playing as, and then they don't want you to
Whatever the cost.
sympathize too much with these early characters. So, like the first jailer looks totally like a monster, and as you get later into this boss fight, basically, this is where you start to see the eyes of your jailers, of your victims, of the people you're killing to free yourself. Yeah. And yeah, it definitely just brings me back, particularly in this boss fight, to the thought that other philosophies should be considered, even if they are, for the most part, societally fully rejected. We've seen the philosophy of what may be good for the greater good to just stop fighting and stay in a gilded cage. But that philosophy does not satisfy the desires of our protagonist, one would assume. It's hard to tell. They don't really tell you. It doesn't satisfy the bunny rabbit guy, at least.
Those guardians, handpicked, top of their
And there's
game killing machines.
part of the thought of philosophy is that it's very possible that it is never truly knowable what is better, what could be considered good, what could be considered bad, even based off a specific strict system for the universe. Maybe it is better for our protagonist to be freed. Maybe it's worse. Maybe it doesn't matter one bit to the universe, and the universe will go on one way or the other regardless. Of course, on the micro scale, you can do very simplistic sampling. The son of our next victim would almost certainly say it was worse for me to come and slay his father, which I'm about to do.
Some more about what this one did to you. You need to know. Then there'll be no stopping you. He is the one who got you here in the first place. He is the one who brought you down. He led the men who captured you. Hundreds of them against you. Was that fair?
Clearly the bunny guy wants you riled up and violent. He gains some freedom by you gaining freedom.
Time to take your revenge.
What would be an interesting twist is if they've pretty much made it impossible to think that the bunny guy is just a hallucination of your character, although it's still possible they may go with that route.
Is the key.
The
Kill him and you will be free.
The next twist would be that the bunny guy is dying and actually isn't going to benefit in any way from killing these jailers. He's just seeking petty revenge. Which again, in philosophy, maybe petty revenge is just as acceptable as anything else. Is any desire worth it? Like at a certain point, Buddhism would say that the root of all suffering is desire, and so to get rid of desire
He who knows
completely.
no fear knows no courage. I take mine from you. We are what we fight
So
for.
here we have a very human-looking character, not a crazy, corrupt character, as the next challenger. And we don't see
I
the
look at you,
kid
stranger, and I see nothing.
again. We don't see him
Desolation.
running away or hiding.
Death.
He has a key on his
You are alone.
chest, and you would think maybe that
I am
was
fighting for something
important,
much
but
greater than this.
it almost is implying that the key is to
Can you
lock the
imagine
door
strength
behind
that
him.
gives me? I doubt it. And so your fight ends here.
Now, for a bigger twist,
I brought you
I would
your
like to
knees
see-
once already, and I will do so again.
like, I would like to see him desperately struggle as a character. Yeah. A lot of attack sequences here where you want to get
Go back.
in. Like you want to get close. Then you want to back off when he's about to attack. Clearly this is going to take me a little bit of remembering the attack sequences.
I brought you to your knees once already, and I will do so again. And you think you can escape?
Our character gets really more ninja-esque in this section than any of the previous fights. Even his escape feels more limber.
I brought
The
you to
arena
your knees
feels
once
a little
already,
smaller in
and I
this
will do so
section.
again.
It definitely is a case where if they decided to make a really, really small arena for me, I would struggle with that quite a bit.
Go back.
See, the right thing to do is probably to charge during that whole section.
We build all
But
of
on the
this.
easy
We
mode,
prepare.
he only has 2
We
rounds,
invested so much.
and so
I will never give up, stranger. The stakes are too high.
yeah, I just don't know if I'm supposed to like really sympathize as much as they probably want you to do.
You can't win, stranger. You have nothing to protect, nothing to fight for.
So it kind of feels like there is a way to
For my
break out
son.
of dying
For all
on
of
some
us,
occasions,
I am bringing you back.
but not always. I kind of want this guy to beg for his life. Beg for his child's life. Something like that. Like, he kind of just has this pride to him that he's just like, I'll never give up. I'm so married to the the way of thinking that it doesn't even really occur to him that he might lose.
You can't win. You're alone. Do
Yep.
you think you can escape?
And see, there I didn't even do the wiggle, and I still
will
escaped.
never give up, stranger.
So
The
it's just like a
stakes are too
cutscene.
high.
He kind of has this double attack and then a pause.
You can't win, stranger. You.
So once again, you have to just get through this whole section first, and then whatever life you have left
You're alone.
is now just all about defeating as many of these as possible. Yeah,
You can't escape.
and I'm really failing to parry.
I will never give up, stranger. The stakes are too high.
And it does seem like the trick here is to break him out of cycles. Don't let him do this attack.
You can't win, stranger. You have.
Break him out of the cycle, save as much health as possible to get into this mode.
You're alone.
I don't know if I'm looking for a perfect parry or what. There. I don't think it really is a perfect parry. I think you just have to survive that. So yeah. You have here him looking very human-like and just so self-assured in his victory when he really shouldn't be that self-assured in his victory. You don't even hear him call out for his son or anything when he dies. And there is certainly something to be said about being so arrogant that you would just bring your kid to this different universe and live there as a jailer. What would be an interesting twist is if you reached out to, say, pat the kid on the head and then your hand goes through the kid and it's just a hologram, it's just a lie. That would actually be very helpful in this next section if it all of a sudden revealed that it was just a lie.
This one, upstairs, arrogant, self-righteous, and cool. That's her.
That's pretty much the same description you could use for the previous guy.
It all. She even got me locked up. You're going to see her little show out there. All this nobility and self-sacrifice. But really, she's just trying to clean up her mess. Just remember, she's messing with your head. Don't listen to her.
So the game is telling you directly, just don't listen to her. And I didn't take that advice. Which, in all fairness, we've fought 5 guys and listened to this guy, and so far succeeded on that aspect. Now we fought about 5 bosses twice just to get back to where we were. That's certainly irritating, though, that we've lost somewhere around an hour and 20 minutes of time just playing the game a second time. Although it is a little reassuring that it only took me 2 episodes, really, to get back to where I was. So I am getting better at the game, and it's nice to learn that, but I still don't really feel like I am getting better at the game if I was going to play it on normal difficulty. I still feel like there will be many more rounds with many new attack patterns that I'd have to learn, and just challenges overall, and less life overall. Remember, normal mode isn't just that there seem to be fewer rounds per boss. It's also you have more rounds of health to mess up. So if I only had 3 life bars and I had to get through it, even the last fight, I probably would really struggle to accomplish that. It would be a lot of time I'd have to commit to do that, and it does really imply to me that on the Furier mode, if you unlock that, you probably would only have 1 health bar, maybe 2, so you could mess up once and that's about it. It definitely feels like it would be nicer if there was a balancing system where you regained a health bar if you beat a round in a certain amount of time. So the faster you went, the more you got rewarded, or you regained an amount of health based on how little damage you took per round. Something like that, so that you could improve your odds in some way. Of course, if you just unlock stronger armor or stronger weapons, that would be helpful too. But in a lot of cases, since you're one cycling some rounds anyways, a stronger weapon wouldn't help in those rounds. And in a lot of times you're 2 cycling or 3 cycling a enemy, in the sense that one attack barrage of mashing X 3 or 4 times does take out half the health, or a third of the health. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. We'll start the next one back where we ended last time. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, there's some links in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.